the Auburn Blitz Podcast, your direct source for all Auburn all the time with Brett Pritchard, Faith Richardson, and Randy Lee.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Auburn Blitz Podcast here on a Friday morning. We are glad that you have joined us wherever and whenever it is that you join us each and every day here on the Auburn Blitz and making Auburn Blitz part of your daily Auburn athletic intake. We got the three-headed monster here this morning. Good to see you, Faith. Always good to see you, Kyle. Appreciate you guys joining in.
Yeah, man, fired up to be here. Got a big one. Got to get it done.
Tomorrow's a big day, so.
And the weather, guys, it feels like football season finally. Not scorching hot. Faith, your shoes aren't going to melt tomorrow on the sideline.
Good Lord, it's about time. I mean, seriously, my feet are finally recovering from the blisters I got on the bottom of them from them melting onto my feet.
You literally had blisters. Tell everybody.
I literally had, and I was wearing white shoes. If I was wearing black shoes, I don't think I would have been able to move because I think they would have melted on to that track around the field. I don't know who decided to do that, but that is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of in my entire life to do that. So whoever decided that should be fired immediately, and someone needs to go take over their position because I would do a better job. Just saying. I don't want the job, but just saying I would.
Literal blisters on the bottom of your feet. Yep. Seriously, it was wild. So not going to have to worry about that. Some fall in the air. Feels like an Auburn, Georgia weekend. And Kyle, yesterday, Faith and I talked about it. When you get to the end of the Georgia week, get ready for the game, 24 hours out, somewhere around in there, you throw everything out. You don't worry about Georgia's won 8 in a row. You don't think about Auburn being on a 4-year losing streak from a seasonal standpoint. You start getting those old memories back of this rivalry, and then you go back out on the field and you go, oh, well, here it is again. Can that change? That's really the whole centerpiece of what we want to talk about. How can that change today? Can that change? Because we had a comment yesterday. Somebody said, y'all talking about Bruce Pearl and it's Georgia week. And I get that. We talked about what Bruce Pearl said, but this thing has lost its liveliness a little bit because Auburn hadn't upheld its end of the bargain.
Yeah, and even the close games feel like you're far away. You know what I mean? So can it happen? Absolutely. I know the results have not sort of shown themselves, especially the last 2 weeks, but I think Auburn's in a spot from a roster standpoint to be able to be competitive, especially on the defensive side of the ball. To me, we can talk about matchups. You can talk about, their secondary having issues. You can talk about whatever you want to. All it boils down to is, can Auburn be just moderately efficient on offense? Can Auburn just figure out a way to not worry about getting people touches, not worrying about getting people targets? Like, can you take play by play and figure out how to get 4 yards? To me, if you can do that, I talked about it on my show this morning. I think you can win this game ugly. And when I say ugly, like, you can have 350 yards of total offense if it's efficient. If you make it work where you're not always behind the chains and going 3 and out, it can happen. Will it is a whole nother question.
I think a lot of what is super important in this game is having it be that home field advantage where maybe we can actually hear some things and have maybe some fewer penalties on that side. And also Cam Newton's jersey is being retired at halftime. Yep. That could create chaos inside the stadium, inside the atmosphere. I mean, sometimes people don't like to stay until halftime. There's a few people that like to leave early. With that, I think a lot of people are going to have to stay, whether or not it's getting kind of ugly or people don't really want to stay and watch. I think that's going to be something that a lot of people stay and watch, and hopefully the crowd stays engaged. But It's getting off to a fast start and being able to keep that momentum moving forward and being able to actually utilize the run game that Auburn has.
Well, I think the points both of y'all made, I want to go back to a couple. First thing is, let's go to preseason before anybody played a game. What did we all talk about? This roster, didn't we? We said, and Kyle, you just said that Auburn has a roster to compete with the Georgias, the Alabamas, those teams this year. Well, nothing's changed. Only thing that's changed from then to now is Auburn's got 2 losses on the road to 2 good teams. Now, they played ugly, and they lost the games because they played ugly. Really wasn't because the other teams beat them. It's because Auburn shot themselves in the foot, or they either blew their foot off because they played so bad. I mean, it's just that point. So from the preseason to now, nothing's changed other than maybe a mentality of how people view this Auburn football team. And I said this to Faith yesterday, Kyle. Auburn's got everything's in place. Faith just went through this about being – if we were on the road in Athens tomorrow, I don't think any of us would say we had a chance. We'd be like, oh, well, here we go again. It's just going to be chalk it up. But because of what Faith just said about being in Jordan-Hare Stadium, can you finally get the lore back and utilize this fan base in this environment to your advantage and pull out a win? You know, one of the things I brought up the last couple of days in this rivalry, Auburn's won 3 times in the last however many umpteen years. The 3 times they've won, they've scored 40 or more points. The rest of those games have been putrid offensively. And, I mean, when I say putrid, I'm talking 7 points, 13 points, 10 points. I mean, not good enough to beat anybody. So can Auburn establish some type of offense? I'm going to go back to a point here in just a minute. Can they establish some type of offensive consistency? I'm with you, Kyle. I don't think it's going to take 40 tomorrow to win for either team. So you could kind of get them in an ugly style game, but can Auburn put together enough consistency? Like you said, 350 yards of total offense, but is it 350 yards of good offense? That's the question.
Exactly. I mean, you look at the Georgia game 2 years ago, I think Auburn threw for less than or right at 100 yards, maybe just right at 100 yards, and ran for over 200. It was just barely over 300 yards of offense, and you had a shot to win the game. And to go speak to your crowd comment, like, they're going to be engaged. And I think the crowd's kind of tired of keeping the team in close losses. Like, they're ready to see a win as well. I was a little bit discouraged by something Hugh said at the end of practice yesterday when he mentioned that they're talking about expecting something different on offense. And he goes back to talking about numbers and, like, you know, we put up good numbers in other places that we've been, and I take a lot of pride in that, and blah, 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 blah. And all that's fine and good. But like, to me, that's what's messing this whole thing up. Like, let's quit worrying about how it looks on paper. Like, we got to quit worrying about, we got to throw for 300 yards. Right. To me, it's got to be play by play. You got to go play by play, situation by situation. Hey, it's 1st and 10. We got the ball to start the game off. How can we be 2nd and 6? Not, okay, I got to check a box. I've got Cam this target on a short pass here, there. Like, to me, we got to quit worrying about numbers and quit worrying about stuff like that. It's not helping. It's not helping. Get in there, grind it out, get ugly, do what you have to do, and go play by play. That's, to me, the only way this thing's going to work. And then just take that and then build and build and build. You got the players to do it. Think about that game 2 years ago. You had Peyton Thorne. Jackson Arnold is a vastly better runner. You had Javarius Johnson was one of your leading wide receivers. You got Eric Singleton now. Like, those play action, those different, like, you keep pounding them, and then turn around, you got a big play. Now you got a guy that can house it from 80. You got multiple of those dudes. So I just think we got to get out of this mindset of, I need my offense to look like it looked at Ole Miss, instead of, I need my offense to beat Georgia.
Let's go back to the Texas A&M game last year, where that was a game where Auburn was able to get off to a big start and a big start fast. And it got to the point in the fourth quarter where Auburn started to do what Auburn does. They started to give up some points, and it was the defense that who can blame them? They get tired because they're just getting outworked game after game after game. If Auburn gets off to a fast start, if Auburn uses the run game that they have and that Georgia's not as well able to cover or get onto them as well, Auburn's going to be able to actually move the ball down the field and not just stay either at the line of scrimmage or further back.
Yeah. Well, I think the first thing you said was the A&M game. That's the best game under Hugh Freeze's watch right now, in my opinion. And he almost blew it because we got out to fast start, and you're like, man, we're about to run A&M out of here, and A&M fought back, took the lead, and you had to win in overtime. But you did win the football game. And what did you do? You got off to a fast start. What has Auburn not been doing? They look like they are stuck completely in the mud in every single game.
I heard a stat yesterday, or not a stat, I guess it's a fact. We've played 4 Power 4 teams. In all 4 games, our first offensive possessions have been 3 and out.
I mean,
I believe it. Good Lord, I believe it.
Yeah.
And Reese comes in and says, spread them out, run it right at them. I mean, he should know. Hey, the man played plenty of good football for Auburn on the front. But I want to go back to the game you brought up, Kyle. I thought that game plan against Georgia 2 years ago was perfect. They were like, they came up with, they were like, man, we have schemed this thing perfectly. We don't have the roster Georgia has, but man, they coached it so well. They gave Auburn a chance to win that football game. If you implement the same type of game plan with these players,
that's
like
what I'm
you
saying.
said, the point you just made, you just change out the ones that Auburn had then, like an Eric Singleton for a Javarius Johnson, the running backs, the quarterbacks better at running. I mean, dude, can you get out of this fog from a scheme and a play calling standpoint to give Auburn a chance to win the game? That's the question. And I'm like you. I think you brought up a great point last week. It's like there's a quota system going on. Like, hey, it does. And there's no rhyme or reason for why Auburn calls what they call. You're not you're not running plays to set up something down the line. I told Faith yesterday, if you look at Georgia, they run, and they make you come up and honor that run. And then all of a sudden they hit you with a play action pass. All of a sudden they hit you with something, a misdirection to kind of get you off balance. And that's how they make big plays. And all of a sudden they've made 2 or 3 of those big plays in a half, and you look up and they're up 21-7 because they've executed perfectly. It's not a big strike, huge play team, but they take advantage of you and they know when they've got you in the right situations.
Patience over panicking. I think that's the key. Can you be patient and not play like you're down 21 points, unless you actually are down 21 points? That was the key word, the word of the day when we came out of the Baylor game was patience. And you've seen anything but that since that game. So can you go into the game with patience and understand that you don't have to win it in the first quarter? That kind of goes to the Texas A&M game. Yeah, I love getting out to a fast start, but you can't win a game in the first quarter. You can lose it in the first quarter, but you can't win it. So you got to be patient, and I think that's going to be key. Can you be patient with all this pressure mounting Saturday?
What's Auburn going to be able to do to protect Jackson Arnold? How is he not going to get sacked? It feels like, yeah. I mean, seriously, how is Auburn going to be able to protect him? Georgia's got linebackers Chris Cole and CJ Allen, who, with Auburn sack issues, I mean, that's who is going to be chasing after him, and he's going to look like a chicken with his head cut off.
Yeah,
trying to find, and that's where it starts with getting behind the chains.
The good news is, I think that's if there is a weakness, it is Georgia getting pressure on the quarterback. They do get all of their pressure from those two linebackers you mentioned. And I think the crowd noise is going to help, obviously, our communication issues. So you should be able to communicate on the offensive line so you're not sort of, getting your timing off. You're firing off the ball. So that should help. And then I think this is probably one of the weaker front fours from a pass rushing perspective that Georgia's had in quite some time. But they're really good against the run. So that's what we're clamoring for. But that seems to be their strength. That'll be an interesting battle, I think.
That is the battle. We talked about it yesterday on the show, that watching to see if Auburn's patient enough to stick with the run game against a team, another good run defense. Look, Texas A&M and Oklahoma did a pretty good job against the run. You're facing another team that's really good against the run. So can Auburn stay patient? You can't run the ball 4 times in the first half with your 2 premier running backs and expect to beat anybody. I mean, that game, look, the more I get away from that Texas A&M game plan, the trashier it looks. It was pathetic. You didn't give yourself a chance to win, even though you did have a chance to win at the end of the game. Now, I do want to talk about our defense here in just a minute, but want to talk about a few of our partners here on the program, and we appreciate them so very much. Sensagreen.
Sensagreen for air that's cool and clean. This fall during dollar days, call Sensagreen for major discounts on HVAC repairs and installs, plus insulation with Professor Greenbacks. Get HVAC smart at sensagreen.com through Thanksgiving with up to $100 off HVAC repairs, $500 off insulation work, and $1,500 off a new HVAC system. Sensagreen with Carrier, turn to the experts. How cool are these coupons?
Scout Program Management, a full construction management firm in Birmingham, Alabama, working with all types of school systems, municipalities. Man, they have so many major projects going on. I've witnessed 2 or 3 of them personally. They do outstanding work. You don't have time, if you're a big business or an educational institution, to go out on site and look at all of the things that go on daily on a project. That's what Scout Program Management does. They are your representative. They make sure things are getting done right. So you need to check them out. They are in Birmingham, Alabama, but they serve the Southeast. Call them if you're planning another project or a major project for your city or your school system.
Bunkers in downtown Auburn, y'all, it's going to be packed on Saturday. Go ahead and pack them out tonight. They're going to have live music. They're going to have their happy hour deals that they have every single day that they're open. And tomorrow, I believe, is going to be $1 Jello shots too. So go over to Bunkers because you can't find some of these deals literally anywhere in Auburn. So go ahead and go over to Bunkers. They got 50 parking spaces downtown and enjoy your time over there.
Enjoy it. It's going to be a fun day in Auburn tomorrow. Hope it's a fun night after the game for sure. Do want to remind everybody, go ahead and get your picks in. Today is Friday. It's time to get your predictions in. I have a chance to win some really good stuff from us. All you got to do is enter your pick while we're on or when we get off. Go in the comments, enter that. Tiebreaker is Jeremiah Cobb rushing yards. Jeremiah Cobb rushing yards. So make sure you get your picks in. See how many yards Jeremiah Cobb has tomorrow run the ball. He's got to get the ball first. You got to give it to him if you're going to get any yards. So maybe he'll get a chance tomorrow.
Kyle, do you have a prediction, score prediction?
I think there's a race to 21. Whoever gets to 21 first wins. So I think it'd be like 21-17 or something like that. Is what I'm thinking, and I hope Auburn's the 21.
Man, yeah, it would be nice to finally be on the right side of things for a change.
Do you think you've got Jeremiah Cobb rushing yards?
I'm going to say 85.
Okay.
We had 83. That stood out because we had somebody say 83 yesterday, but they had Auburn losing 30-14.
He had 82 yards.
82. I'm sorry, I was off.
It's okay.
She's got it all organized over there. I just stab in the dark.
It was Justin. So
yeah, it was Justin. So, all right, let's talk about Auburn's defense. If there's one thing that you can say that's been positive When you go back and you look at DJ Durkin from last year to this year, he's given Auburn a chance to win all these games. I mean, he has. And you look at, a stat that came out yesterday through you guys, Kyle, through the barn. Saw your graphic and the scoring average for opponents versus what Auburn gave up in the game. And I'll just go through these real quick. Baylor, they averaged 36 points a game. Auburn gave up 24. Ball State, 16.4, gave up 3. South Alabama, 25, gave up 15. Oklahoma, 33.8, gave up 24. Texas A&M, 34.8, gave up 16. The defense did its job, man. I mean, they've done their job.
Oh, they continue to do their job. What you're worried about is when does the dam break?
Yes.
Because it's going to be inevitable. Like even that Oklahoma defense last year, I thought was much better than probably where they ended up ranking just because of the same exact reason. Like your offense struggled and their backs eventually are just going to break. Like it's hard to keep getting up and going and getting, 3 and outs and getting the ball back when your offense can't do anything with it. They've been spectacular. They've been really good on third down too, which was one of the big gripes I think last year. I think they have one of the top third down defenses in the country. So they've been spectacular. DJ Durkin runs that offense. I mean, defense like he's the head coach of that defense. They emulate his mentality. They seem to all buy in, and it's almost like it doesn't matter who goes in the game. Like right. They rotate a bunch of guys too. You rotate guys in, and nothing changes. So they're fantastic, and I think they're obviously going to be ready to play hard as long as they can hold out. If the offense can just give them any kind of support whatsoever, they could be a big factor in the game. They may be our biggest chance to score. Who knows?
Georgia's offensive line is some of those guys are injured, and there's going to be some freshmen in. I'm just thinking about how aggressive Auburn's linebackers and defensive line is going to be against these guys because, I mean, Gunnar Stockton is going to have pressure on him. There's no question about it. And between Kieron Crawford and, Keldrick Falk, I mean, he's going to be running for his life if they can get in there fast enough. And if those true freshmen can actually get kind of put off. And I'm thinking also about the fact that they're going in and they're playing in Jordan-Hare. Are they going to be moving a little early? Are they going to be looking like the freshmen that they are?
Could they actually false start and not us false start? 2 guys on the right side of the offensive line have been playing. They're freshmen for Georgia. Limited playing time, and then a guy on the left side of the offensive line going to be making his first start for Georgia in this game. So, look, I don't care who you are and where you're ranked. If you have that inexperience on the road at night in Jordan-Hare or anywhere in the SEC, you should be able to take advantage of it. That should be a strength for Auburn. Let's see if that ends up being the case, because if you got 3 pieces up there on the offensive line that are a little shaky, I'm not saying talent-wise they're not good, but from a mental standpoint, I mean, we all thought Xavier Chaplin was real good going into the season, and he's played anything but good. So can Auburn take advantage of that? Like Faith said, are they going to be a little antsy, trying to get a step a little bit off the ball a little bit quicker? Does that cause a false start? Does that call, do you miss some blocking schemes up front? Do you miss some assignments? We'll see. I mean, I think a lot of that is going to be key. And can Auburn take advantage of that? Can they get Georgia behind the sticks? This is not a big play Georgia team. They have to stay ahead of the sticks too. And they do it running the football. So can Auburn force some mistakes on them? Look, I said this the other day. I don't know how good Auburn is because we haven't played a game against a really, outside of Baylor, I think we all agree, went in and did what we had to do. But since then, it's been a pile of mistakes. How about go out and play mistake free
Yeah.
and just see what happens?
That game back 2 years ago in 2023, Auburn had one penalty for 5 yards.
Bingo.
So,
Bingo.
you know, against Texas A&M, you had 10. So you're talking about the defense in general. I love what they did against Marcel Reed. He's a very big threat to run the ball. He had 7 carries for negative 23 yards in that game, and you forced him to try to beat you through the air, and you saw he wasn't able to do it. I like Gunnar Stockton, but I think it's a very similar situation. I think he has to benefit from the off balance, keeping people off balance with his legs. I don't think he's just an elite runner, but he's good enough to move the chains when things break down. I think if you can contain him, he's average. He's just an average college quarterback, which average can still beat Auburn. I think so. But if you can keep him contained, where it's not like you get those demoralizing 3rd and 8s where he lumbers for 11 yards and moves the chains, I think you got a shot. So I would almost say stick to that same kind of game plan you had for Marcel Reed, for Gunnar Stockton as well, and you may be able to find some success. Texas A&M did gash us a few times on the ground, so that's going to be interesting to see what kind of adjustments they make, because Georgia is obviously much better on the ground than even Texas A&M. So I think they'll be able to. I think they'll play as hard and fight as hard as they can get support again on the offensive side. So I love our defense, though, man. Love everything about them.
I'm like you, Kyle. I hope the down doesn't just explode at some point this season, because they've played so well and they keep coming up on the short end of the stick. So maybe offense, like we're all saying, can kind of turn the page. All right, Faith, special teams, something that we don't talk about a lot, and something that's been a problem for Auburn the last couple of years, and it's not been – some of it hadn't been Auburn's fault. It's bad luck. Let's just be honest with Alex McPherson. It seems like Alex is getting stronger again. I feel good about when Alex is out there, man, you have all the confidence in the world he's going to be able to make the kick from wherever. If they're sending him out, you feel good about it, but it's the range. We've been seeing him get stronger. Could Alex McPherson be the X factor in this game? What a story that would be for him to battle back and to be doing what he's doing. First of all, the miracle for him to even be playing football right now, to me, is unbelievable, and what he fights through. But what a great storyline that could be in this close, ugly game like we're all thinking it could be. It's going to come down to a possible field goal.
Yeah, no question. I mean, it is a story that God is good to let him be able to play at this moment right now, and that he's got the actual strength to move forward, and he's still has that bright light and energy inside of him that he wants to play, and he wants to get better. Every time we see him, he looks better. It could come down to that, but Auburn's offense needs to put him in the position to actually be close enough to let him score a field goal, because if they just keep getting penalties and they keep getting pushed back further, or Jackson Arnold keeps getting sacked, it's not Alex's fault that he can't hit one from as far as he used to because of his illness. That's not his fault.
Yeah, just don't make mistakes when you get in field goal range.
He had, I thought, y'all remember a couple of practices ago, we were out there and they couldn't make a field goal. Like,
oh gosh,
it was the worst. Well, it was as the other way as it could possibly be this past Tuesday. That seemed like those guys were locked in. They made everything. Alex is, like Hugh said yesterday, he kicked, I think, 2 51-yarders, and I witnessed him kick at least 1 50-yarder. Nice. I mean, that gets you all the way down to essentially like the 33-yard line. I mean, if you get to the 33, you got a chance. You're in his range. That changes a lot of things. That changes a lot of the way you call plays. It changes your mindset because it's still almost automatic when it's Alex. He's just that good, even in the limited physical ability that he has currently. So I expect him, if you can get him there, he's going to be able to be somebody you can depend on. And Connor Gibbs, he had a good week as well. So if you got to kick a 60 or whatever you got to do, I think he can do it. Now, will he make it? I have no idea. But the Alex thing is big, and he's continuing to get stronger and stronger. So this could be the game where you have to lean on him, and that's okay. That's okay if you have to lean on him, because that's why he's there.
Kyle, let me ask you a question. You just talked about being at practice this week. Brett and I obviously have been out of town, so we weren't able to make it at practice. What did you see from Auburn at practice?
So I really was focusing on the offensive line. Like, I really wanted to see if I could notice anything in particular. Didn't seem like there was a ton of big changes. I was a little bit – this is super picky because, as y'all know, we only get to see a few periods. But I was a little bit let down about the energy. I don't know. It didn't feel like it was – we've been to some where they've been a lot loud and, hollering and having – it seemed like they're having fun. I don't know. Maybe it was a more business approach, but it didn't feel like there was a lot of that. But overall, I mean, I saw one of the greatest catches I've ever seen Cam Coleman make in that Tiger Ball period where they run that two. We see it every time we go, that ones on ones. Jackson was getting the ball out quick. I didn't see anything necessarily that really jumped out that over any of the other times we've been there, other than the special teams period where I felt like they were really dialed into kicking.
I think both of y'all will agree with what I'm about to say. We talk about period 5 all the time. For everybody that watches, period 5 is the hurry up, no huddle period. You're basically trying to get as many plays in 5 minutes as you can, and they never stop the clock. And, if the first team makes it down the field, then the second team comes out and they do the same thing. I mean, how good – I'm just going to shut up. How good – I'm going to ask both of y'all this. How good does Jackson Arnold look in that period to y'all?
Typically, he's as sharp as can be. It feels like we're not changing plays, like we're not calling audibles. It doesn't really feel like we're calling checks. We just running plays, and he gets the ball out quick and makes it happen and puts it on the money. That's what I see anyway.
It looks good, and it looks like something that every time we come back from practice, we say, gosh, I wish I would see that in a game. Gosh, yes. I wish I could see this in real time, and we don't.
I mean, so I'm glad I'm not seeing distorted images when I'm at practice. I mean, we don't see any of that in a game. Why can't we get in that every once in a while? And I know field position, and you got to get a few first downs to kind of get in a flow. But I'd love to see Auburn come out in a drive and see if they could put some pressure and get up to the line of scrimmage and run it. I mean, why do you practice that every single day, to work on that? I know you do it because there's going to be times at the end of the game you're trying to get maybe in a 2-minute offense. But I've seen teams that execute better in 2-minute offense than they do in a regular one. Yeah. And they get out there and they go, let's get to the line. Let's keep the defense on their heels. And the part of that stands out to me that we've all complained about, the flaw of Jackson Arnold, is there's no time to think. In that offense, it's I got to go here, it's there, or I'm wasting the pass, or I'm running. You're cutting out the thinking part for Jackson Arnold. You don't have time to deliberate over what you're going to do. It's either there or it's not, move on. And that's why I think he executes so well in that period. Because he knows I'm rolling to the right, I'm hitting this guy, or I'm running the ball, or we play, whatever you're doing. It's already kind of predetermined. Yeah. And I think, Kyle, you said that maybe a couple of weeks ago. Can we go back to a situation that we can put Jackson Arnold in some situations where he doesn't have to overthink things and just make some plays and kind of build his confidence?
Yeah, I mean – That seems to be when he has to really break down information post snap. That seems to be when the clock runs a little bit long. Yeah. If it's more, I don't know. I don't even. It sounds like we're making this really easy, and I'm sure it's not. But like that's your job is you see what your quarterback can and can't do, and then you got to give him options that are to his strengths versus dropping back and going through 4 or 5 progressions. That doesn't seem to be his strength. So got to put him in better situations to succeed for sure.
No question. And that's also another part of putting him in the right situations, because putting him in the right situation is not starting at first and long.
I was just going to say,
yeah,
the right situation for Auburn at this point is let's just be ahead of the chains. How about that?
Yes.
The most embarrassing stat I think I've ever witnessed in my whole time of doing this for 8 years is that you could have spiked the football twice on first, second down and been in better shape on third down than if you tried to run plays. So
you keep bringing that up. Does that keep you up at night?
it keeps me up at night. That one's pretty bad. I'm sorry.
Oh,
the way
yeah.
that one's written, kudos to whoever brought that up, because that's ugly. That's ugly football at its best there. So, all right, we got a few more partners, and we're going to get off this morning, and we'll throw some predictions at you. We got Kyle's prediction already, and we'll throw some more out there. You still have time to get them in. It doesn't cost anything. I don't know what you're doing. You got to get your predictions in out there for the game. But some partners here on the show, Old Number One Customs. Cannot say enough good things about what they've done in my house for our master bathroom. If you got a bathroom, bedroom, kitchen, an outdoor living space, whatever it is that you're looking for, they are top notch. Next week, I will finally unveil the new bathroom to everybody right here on the show. You'll get to see the before and the after. It's going to blow you away like it did us. So you get to see it, and you didn't have to pay for it. How about that? So that's the good thing. So check out Old Number One Customs. They do phenomenal work. They can help you out in your next project at your house.
JFA Blue Plumbing, go ahead and get that Home Atlas Water Filter Duo for just $15.99. It's so important to have filtered water. You don't want to see what comes out of water before it's been filtered. It's disgusting. So call on them at 844-JFA-BLUE. And Oliver Ross, if you've got a tailgate that you've got this weekend, or if you've got a fraternity, sorority, date party, or wedding coming up, Oliver Ross is going to be the bartending service for you. They are going to, make sure that your guests have a great time. From 20 people up to 20,000, call on Oliver Ross.
And I know they are working this Friday and Saturday down in Auburn. They got parties going on. They've, talked to Mark. They've got a function for Coach Pearl coming up. So, I mean, they've got a lot of stuff going on, and they are the go-tos. I was at a wedding this past weekend for Oliver Ross. They were the bartending service there. Did a phenomenal job. So, all right, guys. Kyle, we got your prediction. So, Faith, drum roll. Time for yours.
I'm going to go 24-22.
Wow. There you go. Rushing yards for Jeremiah Cobb. What's your thinking?
I'm going to go 93.
93. Okay. Almost to 100. That's pretty good. All right. I had 24-20 Auburn, and I have 61 rushing yards for Jeremiah Cobb.
You have what? 20?
24-20. 61 rushing yards for Jeremiah Cobb.
Nice.
So
maybe the last time you do it.
I know it. I mean, can Auburn do it? I mean, I know we are pro Auburn, obviously, and we're looking through orange and blue glasses, and we got this hope. We want to, hey, I'm ready to snap this streak. Look, there's a lot of things that need to go right for Auburn on Saturday, but getting this daggum streak broken is number one. And then plus the bonus is that you kind of set the stage for the second half of the season with a big win and a lot of momentum. This could be it, guys. I know we say this all the time, but, can Auburn finally daggum be this? Could this be the turning point? It's what I titled the podcast this morning. Can this be the turning point for this program under Hugh Freeze? We'll see.
You're 4-2. If you win it, you're 4-2, and you got 5 very winnable games in a row. This is kind of what we all thought you could be through the first 6 games anyway. So if it just so happens that you beat Georgia instead of one of those 2 road games,
yes,
who cares? You got a chance to make a run here headed into the Iron Bowl.
Bingo. Faith, anything else you want to add?
No, I'm ready for it tomorrow, I think.
Yeah,
That's what
she
you get here.
a little bit extra hate for Faith in this game from where she's from. So she said yesterday, Kyle, that her head may just explode if things go bad tomorrow. I said, we're going to have to find a new partner here on the program. It won't be good. If you see an explosion, it'll be Faith on the sideline just combusting. So hopefully that won't be the case. All right, guys. Kyle, as always, appreciate you. Tell everybody how they can keep up with what you guys are doing over at the barn.
Yeah, just go to thebarnauburn.com. It's our message board. Sign up, jump in the conversation, and then you can find me anywhere you get a podcast.
There you go. Appreciate you, Kyle. Thank you so much for always joining
Thanks,
us
Kyle.
here Friday. And again, Faith, I'll let you send us out.
Hope everyone has the best weekend ever.
I hope it's a great one for Auburn, man. We're just keeping our fingers crossed. We will be back with all of you next week for more Auburn Blitz podcast and shows. But Faith, reminder to everybody, we'll have our post-game show coming up right after, about 30 minutes after the Auburn-Georgia game. Brought to you by Pepper Tree Steaks and Wine. We appreciate them so very much. We'll make our trek across campus, hopefully through a sea of toilet paper at Toomer's Corner. We may even be delayed after a win. We'll take a moment to throw a few ourselves on the way to where we're going to go do the podcast. So remind everybody out there, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you do that. You'll get an alert when we go live, so that way you don't have to worry about it. All those of you that have subscribed, we appreciate you so very much. But like Faith said, have a great weekend, everybody, and we will see all of you next week for more Auburn Blitz.